Hello you guys, my name is Anita. I share my spiritual journey and also insights I get while I meditate, and also I like to talk about certain books that I've read and certain teachers that some of you probably already know. Now today I wanted to share a book that kind of popped up on my YouTube feed called Transurfing of Reality. If you see me glancing down, that's because I made some notes just so that I share everything I want to share in this video. Now, what is Transurfing of Reality? It's basically something similar, I think, to what Dr. Joe teaches regarding tuning into different dimension, or if you're familiar with changing boxes meditation. The concept is kind of similar, but it's explained in a different way, so I thought it would be beneficial for you guys to listen to what Vadim has to say about that. So the book basically starts when he goes back in time, and he basically writes down what kind of thoughts he used to have as an old personality, where he was complaining constantly about his life, how bad it was. And the beginning of the book was actually hard to listen, at least for me, because in certain extent I did realize that this is something that I used to be doing. I used to be like a master of pity party person, and that's what he was too. Then he had a dream where he kind of landed in a paradise and he was admiring the views, and while he was doing so he met an old man with a white beard and everything. And immediately when he wanted to comment on what he saw, the guy was like very aggressive, and he said that he doesn't want to hear what he has to say, and he's sick of people complaining constantly about the world. So he kind of let him be. But then when he was like very enjoying the views, that guy appeared again, and he commented, "You must be very lucky to live in a place like that." And that guy told him, "What stops you from doing the same?" And when he started to complain again, that's when he ignored him. And at some point this old guy told him, "You fool, don't you know you have freedom of choice?" And you know, the dream went on when he was kind of arguing with the guy. But then when he woke up, he couldn't remember all of the things that happened in the dream. Especially he couldn't remember what important message the guy had to convey to him, because once he said that, he kind of like, you know, everything went fuzzy. Sorry, I'm kind of incoherent when I tell this story. Anyway, when he woke up, he had this one concept in his mind, and the concept was transurfing of reality. So that's basically how I guess this whole book began, and also his own kind of like adventure into the depth of that topic. And he explained that he started to have like downloads regarding how this reality works. So remember when the guy in the dream told him that he always has a freedom of choice? Now Vadim explains that the world that we live in is basically like visiting an art gallery. So imagine you go into an art gallery and you look at, sorry, that's my cat, and you look at the painting that you don't necessarily like. Yeah, she went into letterbox. So you look at the painting that you don't necessarily like, and and it's kind of equivalent to how we complain about the reality. We keep on looking at it and we complain. And when you go into gallery and you look at the painting that you don't like, you complain about it and you try to change it. It's really impossible to change that painting. And no matter how much focus you put on, nothing really will change because it's like already set. So Vadim explains that in order to actually change your reality, you need to walk away and go and look at a different painting, a painting that you actually like. And I really like the way he explains this, because it kind of reminds me of Changing Boxes meditation from Dr. Joe, when he basically teaches you to first like become no one, nowhere, no thing. So you lose the focus and you stop focusing on things you don't want, and then you kind of tune into reality that you want to experience and you focus on that. So it's kind of similar to Transurfing of reality that Vadim Zeland explains. But that's not obviously all that he talks about in the book. He also talks about the concept of pendulums. So a pendulum is like, you can have positive pendulums and negative pendulums. However, in our world, most likely we meet with those destructive negative pendulums. And it could be like, I don't know, politics or big corporations or anything that, collectively people focus on and become part of. Could be like organized religions, could be anything that in a way takes your energy. And he explains that pendulums are very peculiar because they do not really care whether you put positive or negative energy on it. So pendulum just needs energy to move. So whether you're against it, you give it energy, and when you're for it, you give it energy. So it kind of reminds me of saying what you resist persists, and it applies to those pendulums as well. So in order for a pendulum to stop having any impact on your life, it would be just to stop giving it attention altogether. So, instead of being angry at all the news and everything that happens in your life, you just stop putting your attention there. And slowly but surely, this pendulum will have less and less effect. And if you do not react, really, the pendulums will always find someone who does react and will focus on them instead. So it's very interesting. I think in a way our destructive habits could also be described as pendulums that takes our energy. So whether we like doing something destructive or not, it would give it energy. And Vadim says it's very hard for me to explain what he meant, because in Polish version he would say that in order for pendulum to stop working on you, you kind of need to dissociate from it. So it makes me remember what Joe always says, that you kind of, before you even go into quantum, you kind of need to become no one, nowhere in no time. So in a way, you disinvest your energy and attention from everything known. So also from destructive pendulums that have effect on you. I'm mixing Vadim and Dr. Joe, but in a way, I don't know, it kind of clicked in my brain when I read it. So I really recommend Transurfing of Reality. Vadim wrote 20 books, I think, on the topic, 20 or 10. I should have checked that before I started recording. Anyway, many books. So that's just first book that I got familiar myself with, and I think I will buy more. Not sure if he's available in English language, but if he's not, I can always make some reviews, and if you like that, let me know, and I'll be happy to delve deeper into the topic. Thank you very much for listening, and see you next time. Bye bye.